now I am going to do the video of the granny square. I'm using a massive big needle, and this is what I did the other day. Okay, can you see it there? I'm gonna lift it up here. There's the granny square with the huge big needle, and I just put it on. I haven't it actually sewed on. I just pinned it on one of those cushions. You know that you can buy them. They're probably $1.99 for seats. You know, for a hard chair, and it's just so comfortable and so lovely. So okay, we'll start. So all right, I'll put this back on here now. I'm gonna check where the camera's there. Okay, now. So first of all, now we'll start off with 6 chain. So we just count them. I'll take that away, actually, it's a distraction now. Here we are, 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think actually 5 might be better because it'll make the hole smaller. And then we're joining with the slip stitch. See, now can I get this zoom on here? There's a zoom on this camera here. So look what I'm doing. There's your 5 chain. I'm pushing my needle into the top there. The top of the stitch. The tail of this here, I'm bringing it over here to my right hand, and I'm just holding it there easy, nice and handy. Okay, so I'm going to do a slip stitch there. That's pulling through and pulling through there. Now I'm going to bring this thread around here and just lay it on with that. This will save you finishing threads afterwards. So just practice that. You just bring it along, and we're going to do 3 chain. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do 2 treble. So around the needle into the circle we just made, look. Okay, and we're going to do 2 treble around. Put the needle through the first circle there, around the needle, and pull it through 2. So you've got 3 on the needle. So around the needle and you pull it through 2, and around the needle and you pull it through 2. And just see how I'm moving my left hand along to help me to make it easier. So you do the same. Just figure out what helps you. It's usually moving your finger, your thumb and your first finger. We're going to do another treble. Around the needle, into the circle. Pull it through and up a little bit. Around the needle, pull it through, 2. Around the needle and pull it through, 2. Now the 3 chain, the first 3 chain you did counts as a treble because it's the height of the treble. When you were doing the double crochet, you just did 1 because that's the height of the double crochet. This time it's 3 times the height of a double crochet, so you do 3 chain. Now I'm going to do the corner of this. So 1, 2 chain, 2 chain. Now it's all counting, remember that. It's all counting. So now we're going to do 3 more treble here. There's the circle. We're going right into the circle. Look. I'm going to do around the needle into the circle. I've turned the wrong way. Around the needle and pull it through the circle, around the needle and pull it through 2 stitches on the hook and around the needle, and we'll pull it through 2, the last 2. And we're going to repeat that twice more. So around the needle into the circle, around the needle, pull it through and lift it up a little bit, around the needle and pull it through 2, and around the needle and pull it through 2. That's 2. Now do it again, around the needle into the circle. I hope you can all see that. Around the needle and pull it through and lift it up a little bit, around the needle and pull it through 2, and around the needle and pull it through the last 2. Okay, now how many have I done there? I've done 3, look. That's my first 3. That's your corner and that's your next. Now we're on to the next corner. 1, 2. The corners are all 2 chains for this pattern. So all you have to remember is 2 chains for the corners and trebles. That's all. There's no more chains. Oh yeah, the first 3 chain for the first lot, the first group of stitches. Now we'll do 3 more trebles in here. Around the needle into the circle, around the needle and pull it through and lift it up a little bit, around the needle and pull it through the first 2, around the needle and pull it through the last 2. We'll do that 2 more times. And it's a good idea now for you to start saying that to yourself as you work. It'll just get it into your head and it won't leave it actually. You'll just automatically go into that if you keep saying it to yourself. Okay, so around the needle into the circle, around the needle and pull it through and lift it up, around the needle, pull it through 2 of the loops on the needle, and round the needle and pull it through 2. That's 2. Now we're going to do 1 more. Around the needle into the circle, around the needle and pull it through, and then around the needle and pull it through 2, and around the needle and pull it through 2. Now I'm going to show you this now. That's your first group of 3, your second group of 3, and your third group of 3, and now we're coming to the last group of 3. So we're going to do 1, 2 for the corner, 2 chain. Oh yeah, we have to do 3 more here, 3 more trebles. So around the needle into that circle. Okay, around the needle and pull it through the circle, around the needle and pull it through those 2, and around the needle and pull it through that 2, the last 2. So do that again, twice more. Around the needle into the circle, around the needle, okay, just around the needle and you pull it through the circle, around the needle you pull it through the first 2 loops, and around the needle and you pull it through the last 2 loops. Now I have to do 1 more, but I have to pull out the thread first here. Okay, so now to do it 1 more time. Around the needle into the circle, around the needle, pull it through the circle, lift it up a bit, around the needle, pull it through 2 loops, and around the needle and pull it through the last 2 loops. Now, and 2 chain for the corner. Now you have to join to the top of that 3 chain. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you have to go in there. I have a small needle here to make the hole big so you'll see it. Okay, and I'm going to the bottom of that stitch. So when I put my needle in, I'm going to have 2 in there. And put my needle in, and I have 2 threads at the top, so I'm doing a slip stitch in there. Now you've done your slip stitch loads of times, you just pull it through. Now I'm going to open this up now to show you. Here, I'm going to put my hands into the 4 corners, look. So the 2 chain are your 4 corners. The 3, they're going to have a group of 3 trebles on each side. Okay? So you do the same with yours. When you have joined with your slip stitch, take your needle out, put your hands into the 4 corners and stretch it out. And you will see the pattern. The pattern is groups of 3 trebles and 2 chain for each corner. Now, when you're putting your needle back in again, make sure your V's are all facing you. Okay? So there's my V's all facing me. Now, I'm not going to use 2 colours now because you're just going to be using 1 colour. I use 2 colours in the example just to show you what happens. Now, this time I'm going to do 3 chain again. So every time we do a treble here, the first treble is always 3 chain, okay? So when I join it with my slip stitch, I do 3 chain, then I turn my work around. There's my work there, look. I'm turning it around and I'm at a corner. Now into each corner I'm going to do 3 trebles. 2 chain and 3 trebles, but for the first group I'm only going to do 2 trebles because my 3 chain here will act as a treble. Then I'm going to do another treble here. Okay, I'm doing my treble. And it's getting a bit out of hand, so I'm moving my left hand like that over here. Look, to control everything I'm doing, because it'll kind of go all over the place. So if you just use your left hand to control that. Now the loop is kind of full, so you just hold it with your left hand and with that finger there, you push it over because you're going to do another group here of 3 trebles. Now you're going to do the corner. This is the increase all the time. 1, 2 chain, 2. This is how you increase. Because when you're going out in anything, you have to increase, and this is how you do it in this instance. Now we're going to do a set of 3 trebles in here. Around the needle into the stitch into the corner. Around the needle and pull it through. Around the needle and pull it through 2, and around the needle and pull it through 2. 2 more I have to do. Now you can't work out on here. You have to keep your group inside this 2 chain. So you can just hold your hand, your left hand there, and then it'll stay inside. You can't work past that. So around the needle, into the corner, around the needle and pull it through the corner, around the needle and you pull it through 2, and around the needle and you pull it through 2. Now, there's your corner. Oh no, I've only 2 done, I have to do another one. Okay. Okay. So you're going to be working all the time with groups of, oh no, you see now. The stitches sometimes can drop like that, but don't panic, just kind of get them back on the needle. It's good that happened there now, because I just put them back on the needle. Okay, let's pull it through 2, and you pull it through 2. Okay? Now, that's your first corner of your next row. Now you're going straight into your next corner. So we're going to do a group of 3 trebles, 3 trebles. I'm not going to repeat it now anymore because I'll repeat it this one because it's better if you repeat it yourself. We're at the corner now. We're going to do a group of 3 trebles. I've done the first one, look. I'm doing the second one.
Hello.
I'm doing something, Jeff. I'm doing a tutorial. I'll go up in a minute.
I still have briquettes if you want any.
Okay, thanks. Okay, sorry about that now. Okay, so that's 1 treble. We're going to do 2 more. Okay, 1, 2. Around the needle into the corner. Around the needle and you pull it through the corner and lift it up. Around the needle and you pull it through 2. And around the needle and you pull it through 2. Okay, now 2 chain, this is for every corner. Every corner is going to be the same. We're going to have a group of 3 treble, 2 chain and 3 treble. Now you see that corner is full up there, so what do? We hold that stitch there, look, and we move this over. Whatever way you want to do it, just move it over to make room. So we're going to do 3 more treble in here, around the needle into the corner, around the needle and pull it through the corner, around the needle and pull it through 2, and around the needle and pull it through 2, and do that twice more in the corner. So each corner is going to be like this. Okay, I have the zoom on in the camera to make it really clear for you, and I'm using a big huge needle and big thick thread. Now yours will only be tiny compared to this because it's hard to learn with the big thick thread. We'll just you keep going the way you're going with that thread for the moment. Now we're going on to, now look, here you are now, look, you've got 2 corners done. We're going on to the next corner. The next corner is a group of 3 treble, around the needle into the corner, around the needle and pull your needle through, around the needle, pull it through the first 2, and around the needle and pull it through the last 2. Okay, around the needle into the corner, around the needle and pull it through, around the needle, pull it through 2, and around the needle and pull it through 2. Okay, around the needle again, we have to do 3 first, 3 into the corner, then 2 chain, 1, 2, and we have to go back into the corner. So the space is all full, so we just move those stitches along to fit them in. Fit in 3 more treble here now. Around the needle into the corner, around the needle and pull it through, around the needle and pull it through 2, and around the needle and pull it through 2. And we have to do 2 more. So you say it to yourself now, around the needle into the corner, around the needle, pull it through and lift it up, around the needle, pull it through 2 loops, and around the needle and pull it through 2. And I'm going to do 1 more because I have 2 groups of 3 in the corner. Every time you come to a corner, it's the same. 2 groups of 3 treble and 2 chain in between, because that's your increase there. So now look, you have 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do the last corner here now. Okay, go straight over to the last corner for row 2. So around, this is row 2. Okay. I'm going to do 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3. Push the stitches over to make room for the next 3. 1, 2, and we have to do another 3 here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we have to join it up. Here it is now, look, there's your square, the start of your granny square, and you've to join it to the top of the 3 chain, the first 3 chain we did. So now another way to figure out where's the top of the chain, a much easier way is, you see that stitch there, the first treble, it's the stitch next to it. Rather than count from the bottom, just it's easier for you to keep your eye lined up with the work at the top. So you go down to the bottom of the stitch. Now, if you're finding it hard, you just keep pushing it and use your finger to get the needle in. And you have 1 thread below, look, 1 thread below, and you have 2 threads on top. This is to keep your tension correct at all times, and you're joining with your slip stitch. Okay, now every time you complete a row with this granny square, you turn your work. So you can turn your work and do the 3 chain. I prefer to just do the 3 chain now. 1, 2, 3, and I turn my work around. Just turn it around, and you're working, you always work into the space immediately beside the 3 chain. So look, that space there is obvious. Okay, so you're going to do two treble in there now, because the 3 chain acts as a treble. So into the first space around the needle, pull it through. 1, 2, and keep moving your hands along, your left hand. I hardly use my right hand at all, as you can see. It's my left hand I use to control all the thread. So now I'm going to go in here again. Now, okay, now you're going to go straight into the next space, and the next space is the corner. So you're going to go straight in there. And you have to do 2 sets of trebles. Now, if you can't remember how to do the treble, go back, stop the video, and move it back to the start, and just keep practicing it. 1, 2, 3. You have 2 groups of 3 in the corner, and 2 chain in between the 2 groups. Okay, now just pull out some more thread here. Okay, now I have 3 done, and I have to do another 3, and the space is full up. I'm going to push it back, do my 2 chain, okay, and then do my 3 treble in here. So maybe it's better if you just write down Each corner is, just write it on your notes and keep your notes beside you, so when you come along to do it, you'll have it there. You won't be stopping and wondering, what will I do? So that's one treble, and I'm going to do 2 more. So for the corners, you can write down 2 groups of 3 treble and 2 chain in between. Okay, now the next space now is this one here. And as you go along, you'll be able to identify what the space is. Like the space is directly over that first group of 3 treble there. Now, okay, so we're going in here now into this space, and we're going to do 3 treble again. A group of 3 treble. 1, 2, and I'm moving my left hand along to help me do these treble, because I need to be able to manage that thread to keep my tension good. Okay, I've done that, one group there. Now I'm going to the corner. That's my next space here. Okay, I'm going to do 3. Remember I said the corner is 2 groups of 3 treble and 2 chain in between. So this is my second stitch in my first group of 3, and there's the last one, and the space is full up, so I push the stitches over to make room. 1, 2. Now I'm going to do 3 more treble in here. 1, 2, 3. Now the next space is here. See, it's there in that one, and here in this one. It's the space in the middle of the row. Okay, so here you are. Do 3 treble in there. 1, 2, 3, and now, can you see all that? I'm going into my next corner. Okay, that's my first corner, my second corner, and my third corner. And in your notes, write down 2 groups of 3 treble and 2 chain in between. Okay, I'm starting my first group of 2 treble now. One, 2, right, and then 2 chain. 1, 2, and I'm going into the same space. I'm moving these stitches along here. 1, 2, 3. Now, that's my group 2, a group of 3 trebles, 2 chain and 3 trebles into the corner. And it's always the same. For this tutorial, it's always that. Okay, so now we're going into the next, we're turning the corner now, and we're going into the next space along here. So that space, look, there's your first part of the ring. That's your first row, and this is your second row. And that space is directly above the first row. Okay, now we're going to do 2 treble in there, 3 trebles, sorry. One, two, three. Okay, now we're coming to our last corner. Okay. Here's our last corner now, look. Or hole, you can call it a hole, but it's actually the corner. The corner holes are always bigger than the holes along the side. Okay, so now here we are. Okay, now for the last hole, the last corner is the same, 3 trebles. Oh, sorry. There's the last corner. 1, 2, 3, and then your 2 chain. 1, 2, and we have to do our second group of three trebles. So 1, 2, 3. All right, now, and we're going to join to the top of our 3 chain, our first 3 chain, because we've gone all the way around. So the easiest way to do it is find your first treble. I'll show you with a small hook. There's the top of the first treble. So there's the 3 chain there. I'm going to put my small hook here into the bottom of this chain, look. So see that hole there? You point your crochet hook into the bottom and just push it through, whatever way you have to, just poke it through, and you do a slip stitch and we're finishing here now. You've done 3 rows. And I'm showing you this easy finish. It's on all the tutorials instead of the way I showed you before. So I'm just gonna, you just do 1 chain. When you do your slip stitch, you just do 1 chain. And leave a nice little tail there. Okay, and lift up your stitch and just make that tight there. Now, I'm going to put my fingers into the 4 corners and hold it up to show you. Now, there's your, I'll take the zoom off now. Okay, now there's your granny square. Okay, sorry, wrong. This way, yeah. There's your granny square now, look. So you do the same with yours. Hold it up at the corners. Now yours is going to be much smaller than that because I'm using a massive big needle and massive thread. It's the very same for you. Now what I recommend you do is you watch the video a couple of times to familiarize yourself with what I'm doing, You write it down then and have it beside you when you're doing the video. When you finish every row, you join with your slip stitch and do your 3 chain and turn your work around. Every time you start a new row, you turn your work around. Now, there's other ways of doing the granny square that you don't turn your work around, but it's just, this is the easiest way to learn to do it. It's a pain-free way of learning to do it. So I would recommend you do your notes, and away you go, and good luck. And practice, try and have some done, because we're going to be doing other things, and they're the 3 stitches, the chain, double crochet and treble. Okay, good luck then. I'm going to do another tutorial for